My name is Anthony Romano, and this is how my daughter's fiancé learned the most expensive lesson of his life. Give me $50,000, or there will be no wedding. That was the moment I realized my daughter's fiancé wasn't marrying her. He was marrying her family's money. What Preston Whitfield didn't know was that the man he believed was a struggling bank employee actually owned the bank holding his family's $4.2 million mansion mortgage. He thought my old Honda made me poor. He thought my modest house made me powerless. And worst of all, he thought my Italian immigrant family belonged beneath his. So I stayed quiet. I let him talk. I let his family insult me. And then I made one phone call that changed everything. 8 months earlier, my daughter Anna brought Preston to my home in Federal Hill. The moment he stepped out of his BMW, I saw disappointment on his face. He looked at my small house, my old Honda, my simple clothes. Then he looked at me. "So you're Anna's father?" he asked. I shook his hand. "Anthony Romano," I said. He smiled politely. "Anna tells me you work in finance." "I work at a bank," I said. Anna immediately corrected him. "Dad has been with the same company for 25 years. Preston nodded, and I could almost see the calculation happening in his head. He thought I was a middle-class bank employee. He had no idea I owned Romano Financial, a company with 80 branches and billions in assets. I had deliberately kept my lifestyle simple. I wanted Anna to grow up believing that success came from hard work, not from her father's money. And she had done exactly that. She graduated from Stanford. She worked hard. She built her own future. But Preston seemed more interested in how much money her family could contribute to his social image. A few weeks later, he brought up the wedding. "The venue Anna suggested isn't really appropriate," he said. He wanted a luxury venue in Newport, 200 guests, estimated cost, $300,000. Then came the real demand. "My family can handle most of it," Preston said, "but we need $50,000 from your side." Anna looked uncomfortable. "Dad doesn't have to," she began. Preston interrupted. "Anna, your father works at a community bank. He probably makes around $60,000 a year. Asking for $50,000 is already reasonable." I almost laughed. He had no idea that $50,000 was less than what my company earned in a few hours. But I didn't tell him. Instead, I asked one question. "And if I don't pay?" Preston leaned back. "Then we may have to postpone the wedding." There it was. $50,000 or no wedding. My daughter was sitting there with tears in her eyes. Preston wasn't asking for help. He was demanding an admission fee into his world. I simply said, "I'll think about it." He gave me 3 days. He thought I needed 3 days to find $50,000. He had no idea what I was doing. That night I called my compliance department. "Run a complete review of the Whitfield family's accounts," I said. By Thursday morning, I knew everything. Their investments, their trust funds, their business interests. And then I found something very interesting. The Whitfield family's historic Newport mansion, the 8-bedroom estate they had bragged about for generations, was mortgaged through Romano Financial. Outstanding balance, $4.2 million. And the mortgage contained a character clause, a clause that prohibited certain forms of discriminatory conduct. I called my legal team. "Review everything," I said. They did. Then I waited, because I didn't want to punish Preston for being arrogant. I wanted to know exactly who he was, and he showed me. At a Newport Country Club gathering, Preston's family publicly humiliated me. His mother looked at my suit and asked, "Which bank did you say you work for?" "Romano Financial," I said. Someone laughed. "Isn't that the bank near the Pizza Palace?" Another person joked about ethnic neighborhoods. Then someone suggested my daughter should have a cheaper wedding, maybe something with paper plates. Everyone laughed. Anna looked devastated, but I stayed silent until Preston looked directly at me and said, "Your immigrant family needs to learn their place in America." The room went quiet. I slowly reached into my pocket. I sent one text. "Maria, bring the Whitfield files. Bring the board members. Bring the legal documents. Now." Then I looked at Preston. "You're absolutely right about one thing," I said. He smiled. What's that? $50,000 is a lot of money. His smile grew wider. Then I finished. Especially when you're about to lose $4.2 million. The room went completely silent. Preston's smile disappeared. His father stood up. What did you just say? Before I answered, Maria walked through the doors with two members of my board. Mr. Romano, she said, the board has approved the action. Preston stared at her. Mr. Romano? Maria turned toward his family. I'm Maria Romano, Vice President of Operations at Romano Financial. She placed the documents on the table. Your family has held a $4.2 million mortgage with our institution for 8 years. Preston looked at me. Wait, his voice cracked. You said you worked there. I do, I said. I paused. I just never said I worked for someone else. I own Romano Financial. Silence. Absolute silence. Anna stared at me. Dad. Maria opened the file. Romano Financial Group. 80 branches. $2 billion in assets. Preston's father couldn't speak. His mother looked like she was about to faint. And then came the document that destroyed their confidence completely. Loan acceleration notice. $4.2 million due. The Whitfields had believed their wealth protected them. They had spent their entire lives looking down on people like me, but they had forgotten one thing. Money doesn't make you powerful. Knowing who you are does. Preston immediately turned toward Anna. Anna, please, your father is overreacting. She looked at him. No. But we're getting married. Are we? He froze. She continued. Tonight you laughed about my family. You made jokes about my father's money. You demanded $50,000. And then you told my immigrant family to learn our place in America. She removed her engagement ring, a 3-carat diamond. She placed it on the table. We're done. Preston's face collapsed. Anna, please. But she didn't move. For the first time, I saw my daughter stop trying to impress people who never deserved her. She wasn't the embarrassed girl from earlier. She was Anna Romano. Strong, confident, free. The next morning, Anna came to my house. Dad, why didn't you tell me? I smiled. Because I wanted you to become Anna Romano, not Anthony Romano's daughter. She started crying. And Preston? He was a test, I said. A test? I needed to know whether he loved you, or the family he thought you belonged to. She wiped her tears. He failed. Spectacularly. Then her phone started buzzing. Preston. Again. And again. He wanted her to convince me to stop the foreclosure. She blocked his number. Then she looked at me. You know what I finally realized? What? The problem was never that I wasn't good enough for their world. She smiled. The problem was that I was trying to become someone they would accept. I squeezed her hand. You never needed their acceptance. Weeks later, we had dinner at Russo's on Federal Hill, the same restaurant Preston had called inadequate. Anna was laughing again. She looked happier than she had in months. Then she told me she had been invited to speak at a scholarship banquet. Romano Financial had also created a $2 million scholarship fund for first-generation college students. Dad, she said, you did this because of Preston, didn't you? No, I smiled. I did it because every kid who works hard deserves an opportunity. She looked at me. I'm proud to be your daughter. Not because of the money, because of who you are. I smiled. And I'm proud of the woman you've become. The Whitfield mansion was eventually sold at auction. The family that once believed they were untouchable lost the home they had bragged about for generations. But I never considered that my victory. My real victory was watching my daughter walk away from a man who measured people by their money. Because in the end, Preston lost much more than a mansion. He lost Anna. He lost his reputation. And most importantly, he learned something his family should have taught him long ago. Respect cannot be inherited. Money cannot buy character. And you should never underestimate someone simply because they choose to live humbly. Because sometimes, the person sitting quietly in the old Honda is the one holding the keys to your entire future. Now tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated because of your background, clothes, car, or financial situation? And if you believe character matters more than status, share this story with someone who needs to hear it.